This is the Detroit Sports Podcast Network.
We've got new uniforms, guys. It's a very big moment in the history of Jerry Mallory and I guess the Lions too.
Call it how it is. Hit it. I promise you, swear. Admit it. Yo, Percocet. Miley Percocet.
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Hindsight 20 podcast. I'm your host, Jerry Mallory, a proud member of PrideDetroit.com, a proud member of the Detroit Sports Podcast Network. What's happening? Of course, the big news, if you will, were the uniforms. We're going to talk about that. And in fact, we're going to start the show off today with a guest. We haven't had Chris Gandy on in quite some time, Lions extraordinaire. We actually had a chance to get together. It's been a while. Go down to Ford Field this Thursday. Had a very good time. So without any further delay, let's go ahead and talk to Chris Gandy.
Yo.
Chris, what's happening, man? You're live on the Hindsight 20. What's going on, brother?
You know, it's one of those nights trying to catch up on the DVR. How about you?
Hey, man, I didn't get a chance to get into any of my DVRs. You know, I got Raw sitting there. I might try to check out what's on your list. You know, we're gonna talk about Lions. We're gonna talk about the uniforms, but maybe we'll go off the beaten path a little bit. What do you got on your DVRs you're getting caught up on, man?
So I gotten hooked into Billions over the last year, and it's only 2 seasons. Really good show. I think it's one of the best shows on TV right now. It's one of those. You can't be multitasking when you're watching it, right?
You gotta say it right there. Be locked in, right?
You gotta have a pretty good vocabulary. You gotta be in depth in terms of what's going on with the characters. But hell of a show, man. Big fan. And then, for entertainment value, one that I'll put on while I'm doing stuff on the computer is Empire. Empire's gotten a lot better than it was the first season. Really enjoy it. I gotta wait another 2 weeks. I'm kind of caught up on that show. That's the worst, catching up on the show, and now you're waiting. So that's a tough spot.
Yeah, it's rough, man. I got this problem, dude. Like, I watch the same stuff over and over and over. I need to expand my horizons. I don't think there's a current weekly episodic show that I watch. Usually if I'm getting caught up on DVR, it's to watch a little bit of WWE. It's to check out maybe the Tigers. I'm stuck in this box, man. When I go to Netflix, I will continually put on Parks and Recreation. I'll continue to put on The Office. The Office is like my all-time favorite. Nothing comes close. I can watch that show. I'm embarrassed to say how many times, and it's not just me, it's my wife too. I'm embarrassed to say how many times in a row or how many consecutive times that we've watched that show from like beginning to end. So I got to get into a few new things. I think she's doing Downton Abbey now. She said that's pretty good. I was even online yesterday. I guess there's this deal on Netflix. Well, it was I think it was Looper or some website was saying some of the hidden gems on Netflix. It was some documentaries, it was some TV shows. So maybe I'll get caught up on that. But, what we wanted to talk about first, man, was Thursday night. That was a pretty good time. It was a good event. It was good seeing you. We hadn't got together in quite some time. Before we get like detailed on the uniforms, Let's chat about the event itself. What was your impression? How they put this thing together. It's all about catering to fans, keeping your season ticket holders, possibly acquiring new ones. What were your thoughts on the event as a whole? The big, I guess you can call it a town hall meeting, a member summit. What were your thoughts, man?
Yeah. I mean, there's only, one word, I guess 2 words. The macaroni and cheese, baby.
Man, that stuff was good. I mean, I've been breaking my diet so much. That was some good mac and cheese, bro.
You and I, man, we both said, hey, Grandma made this. So the food was good. Didn't expect that. I thought they hit this one out the park, right? Big time is slow season. As a Lions fan, Tigers are starting up. Pistons and Wings are both at home. So it's a nice one to kind of do something to do downtown Detroit, right? Tigers weren't in town that day. But I enjoyed it. Got to do the tour upstairs, got to see the press box where Justin Rogers and Mikey and those guys talk about their cat and, So I'm not sure what else they do up there, but we got to see it. And we got to see the booth, right, where they do the replays.
Yep,
and
that was cool.
We got a chance to visit that where we're not allowed to go. But I enjoyed it. I thought the town hall portion of it, question and answer. And if you're watching DetroitLions.com videos, you pretty much got the same flavor from Jim Caldwell. Bob Quinn's a little bit more animated. And then of course, Rod Wood has just continued to impress me. I leaned over to you mid-show, mid-summit, and said, "Hey, man, that last guy in that job, he was a jackass."
It's like night and day, isn't it, man?
It is. And Rod Wood has just been able to put on one for Detroit. He's made us a contender in terms of just being able to have a voice, right? Hey, I want to have the last 2 home games at home. Now he's fighting for the first 2 home games, in the first 4 games, just to have at least 2. So he's got a voice to brand within the NFL, which I don't think we've had in the last decade, right, underneath the Ford family and
so true.
And the Mayhew guy. So I think he's doing a good job, and I think they've done a good job with him.
I couldn't agree with you anymore. To go, I guess, in reverse, Rod Wood, like you said, it's night and day, man. I go back to when I got season tickets in 2014, and I was completely underwhelmed. Okay, forget about the fact they started 1-7. That is what it is, and I'm not even talking about that. And that left a bad taste in my mouth. But they started winning toward the end. But the thing that really left a bad taste in my mouth was the treatment of season ticket holders or potential season ticket holders. Customer service was awful. When I got the tickets, I don't even think the guy said thank you. He's just like, "Oh, all right, you're all set." I mean, and the treatment of fans. You don't have to bow down to us. You don't have to cater to our every needs. But the little things go a long way. And when Rod Wood came in, a lot of us were worried because he wasn't a football guy. Well, guess what? Being the president is about, I think, the other things. If you got the front office, you got Bob Quinn and Caldwell, those are the football guys. Rod Wood isn't in there saying who to draft. Rod Wood isn't in there saying who to sign for free agency. But as a team, it's a business, it's the NFL. There's so much involved with that than just the players on the field. That's the most important thing. We know that they could be the worst. They could be horrible to fans. If they won, we'd be pleased.
Just take your money. Yeah.
Yeah.
They could do it.
You know what I mean? And so when you add that element of things like this member summit, by all accounts, the customer service with season tickets have improved, to the point where now, we were talking about, getting into something. I know you got some season tickets. I'm almost to the point where I'm even considering just going all the way and getting my own package. At the very least, I'll be in the house, with you several times. We're going to, do that. And so my thoughts were the same, man. The mac and cheese was good. Again, that was someone's grandma that made that mac and cheese. I promise you, giving us access. That was good. You felt like you were appreciated, and that's the main thing. And so it's almost like a cool thing that this guy isn't just football centric, because a football guy might just say, "Hey, football, football, football." Screw the uniforms. This football, and all of that's most important. The other things do matter as well, and we have to consider this, Chris. I always say, guys in our age range, Barry Sanders, I think, created so many rabid Lions fans. All right, that guys in their late 20s, early to mid 30s, even late 30s. There is a group, and we fall in those categories of rabid Lions fans. I think Barry Sanders played a huge role into that. Now, I know Calvin, he probably has created a nice section of Lions fans, but what's next? We love the Lions. We're going to watch them every Sunday, but what about that 10-year-old? What about that 7-year-old that in 10 to 15 or more years is the guy that will be making sure Ford Field remains sold out? So it's things like this member summit. It's things like the uniforms. It's the extra things that can acquire. Everyone isn't born a football fan. We had a chance. I had a chance to coach some little league flag football. Some of those guys knew nothing about football. They cared nothing about football. I actually ran into a few of their parents from time to time. I ran into one, and he said, "My son's hooked now, man. He watched when the season began. He's playing Madden." So it's important that you do these extra things, not just for us, but for the future as well, dude. So I'm with you. Now let's talk about the actual uniforms. What are your thoughts, man? Give me a letter grade on the uniforms and give me your feel on them overall.
I gotta back you up a little bit, because you're trying to hide this whole fact that during the uniform portion we were what, silver and blue, our magnets or our lanyards.
Hey man, I don't know what you're talking about.
I gotta let your listeners know how you acted during this thing, because I really had to reel you in a little bit, right? So let's go through a timeline. So Jerry and I get there.
I have no recollection of what you're mentioning.
6 o'clock in the afternoon. And, some of the fans beat us in there at 5:30 when the doors open. And, it was madhouse getting into the parking lot. So I meet Jerry. We walk in, grab food, check out the top shelf where they had, you could see the press box and whatnot. Then we get downstairs and we realize, we got silver and blue lanyards. So we're group 3 to see the uniform release. And when we finally get released from this member summit, the town hall, Jerry and I walk to the front, and there's black sheets up blocking the view of the presentation. But Jerry so anxiously
couldn't wait, dude.
Jumps on group text and gets, I guess, a shot of these uniforms before we even get in there. And can't stop looking at his phone and peeking over the top of the black sheets. And I'm saying, Jerry, man, slow down. Enjoy the presentation. And your first stance was you hated him.
I did.
And I was like, dude, you got a grainy photo. You got some secondhand photos with some smog in there.
It looked horrible, man. I'm so worried.
Let's just wait. And I told you, and as soon as we get there, right, I'm thinking to myself, this is going to be a good presentation. They didn't do it on the field. They actually did it in the front of the stadium where the Pepsi is at. Right. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm going to enjoy this. But Jerry's sitting there. He's so anxious, loves the jerseys. Jersey changes, as he said in his last podcast, but could not take his time to see the full presentation. So I got to say that I give the jerseys a B+. I thought they did, number one, they did a great job presenting this thing.
They did. Yep.
You walk in, there's smoke blowing out as if we're getting announced to run on the field for pregame. There's the Katy Perry Lion. Then you got the new cheerleaders sitting there on the escalators doing their choreographed routine. It was all we needed. And then they had this great video to kind of showcase the history of the Detroit Lions, right? That's what I knew that they had. I knew that this would be the thing that you and I would enjoy, given our history with the team, but also the presentation, right? They brought Ebron on stage. They brought Abdullah, and they brought your boy Ziggy, right? Who you got a photo with. So,
that's my man.
I thought overall the jerseys were dope. I'm gonna give it a B+. Presentation A+.
Yep, I'm with you. I give it a solid B. I'm leaning toward B+ too, man, because the one set that's jumping out at me more and more that's growing is the away. At first, it's like digesting something new. And now we had blue pants before, and I didn't dislike it, but it's like, But now, that away uniform, and then ESPN, or was it Nike? One of the two .coms came up with some more photos, and more and more and more, I just started just really getting into it. You're right though, man. I hate when it comes to uniforms. We've been down this road. I love them. I love, creating new uniforms. I forget that website where they had, Uniwatch, and they had people like submit Lions uniforms, just fans. And when they came out with it, I'm watching, I'm looking at it, and they submitted like 100 different fan concepts, and a month or two would pass, and I knew there would be no more new submissions. I go back on there and look again, let me just relive this. There's something about it. I'm really big into uniforms. I think they did a good job. I really do. I gave it a solid B toward B+. The one I'm not crazy about are the color rush, although
I know it. All this time you've had a week, you still haven't come around to the color rush.
I like it more now. The grainy photo when I first saw the color rush, I was very disappointed. It felt like, I felt like it was like a fake jersey you would buy from Walmart or like a mini mall type of situation. Now, when we saw them for the presentation, I liked them more. When we saw the dude's jersey, I liked it more. Like when you got closer to it, it's still my least favorite, but I do like it more than I did before. I did my rankings on Twitter, at Jerry Mallory NFL. Throwbacks number 1. You just can't top that. The home set is beautiful, man. I love it. The away is creeping. It's number 3, but it's pretty close. And I don't hate the color rush. I don't like it as much as the others, but it is starting to grow on me. I will say that. And I'm gonna give you an opportunity. You kind of called me out, with the one guy. This guy spent his hard-earned money. I think the jerseys are like $175 a pop. So this guy,
with a stitch on.
Yeah, man. So he's $175. I don't know that guy. That could be a day's worth of work. It could be 2 days worth of work. he's got the jersey and he's proud, he's happy, and I got a little politician in me maybe, and I don't like hurting people's feelings. I guess you can say, oh, he's a nice guy or whatever. So this guy's got his jersey, and I did like it more, but I wasn't crazy about it. But I just told him, hey man, it looks nice, and Chris, Chris he had to call me out.
Oh
man.
yeah, I did, because you hated it in the stadium. But you also forgot that he bought one for his 2 kids and his wife.
That guy has some money, man.
Spent a solid $750. So when I left, on Friday, I'm itching to buy some Lions gear, but I got to admit, I'm one of those bargain hunters, right?
Yes.
I'm going out to find a DeAndre Levy jersey this weekend. I went and bought one. I bought a couple of the black shirts, couple workout clothes. So when they came out with these new jerseys, I didn't necessarily say, "Oh, I'm going to go buy me a new Color Rush jersey." I said, "Oh, I'm going to go buy me some of these discounted jerseys." I'm not going to China to get my knockoff.
Hey man, I know a place. It's on the far east region of our beautiful universe. You can get some nice.
Real quick question for you: is the world flat or is it a globe?
Oh man, I'm not an earth flatter. I don't hang with Kyrie and those guys.
Malik McDowell said that the world is flat.
Oh, he's part of the earth.
Took him off my draft board.
He's a earth flatter as well, huh?
Yeah.
It's
off my draft board.
There's a ton of interesting theories out there, man. That one.
If I'm not mistaken, did he not go to Cass?
No.
Oh God, I was going to say, what if they teaching that Cass tech?
And if he did, I would have not. I would still said no. I wouldn't have claimed it. Can't do it. Can't do it. That's wild. No, man. I'm looking at this guy. I didn't have the heart to say I'm not crazy about the jersey, and it did grow on me. You're like, oh, he doesn't like it, man. He's just being nice to you. And I saw he had a twinkle in his eye, Chris, when we were complimenting him on his jersey. He had a twinkle. It was a small spark. He was proud of his purchase. He was happy that he just, he probably had that little bit of regret. When you, like for me, when I spend a certain amount of money. Sometimes I have a little regret, like, man, I just spent how much? So he probably had a little bit of regret knowing he spent, $700.
Right.
Now we come and we tell him, hey, these are nice, man. These are some nice jerseys. And he had that twinkle. And when you went and just debunked my whole theory and said, oh, he didn't like, I saw that twinkle diminish just a little bit, man. Just a little bit.
Hey,
man.
Look, trust and believe. He slept in that jersey that night. If I spent $175, I might be bathing in that thing. I might be wearing it to work, and they're gonna be mad. I'm gonna be in the gym in that bad boy.
He might have.
But I will say this: if they come out with those cool gray patent leather Jordans again with that silver jersey, I guarantee you, every person in Detroit's gonna own that Color Rush.
Now that would be.
I'm just telling you, that silver on the field Monday night game. Whoo, that boy's gonna be cold.
That would be a nice look, man.
Looking forward to it.
And we can do predictions of because I think the schedule's supposed to come out this Thursday. We can do predictions on who, what, and where. When will they be wearing this jersey? When will they be wearing that one? Once the schedule is released, certainly I'm expecting them to have a few more primetime games. Their ratings, the Lions did really good with the ratings. They were an exciting team, a lot of close finishes, a lot of late game situations. I'm expecting them to get probably four games: a Monday night, a Thursday night, Thanksgiving, and then a Sunday night. That's just my prediction, but we'll have to wait and see. Let's transition over into the draft. And you made a pointed statement when we started to set this up, and I sent you that text. It was about Reuben Foster. I kind of want to lead off our draft talk with Reuben Foster. Some more issues with the health. He might be there at 21. At one point, it was just like no chance, no way, no how. But now, Chris, he might be there. So part A to this question, do you think he falls? Part B, who goes first, him or Reddick? And C, 21, he's there. Who you picking?
The sad part about the whole thing was I was hoping to come on the podcast today and say to you that this is my bold prediction. But now with the emergency, with the medical results, it looks like this guy's going to be there. And I'm taking Foster over Reddick 9 times out of 10. Even with this shoulder issue. But where I still have the problem with this guy is what Bob Quinn and Caldwell found out. If this guy can really be handled, right? Because they said that he's a ticking time bomb and he's got a lot of off the field issues. So it comes down to me what Caldwell and Quinn are going to do in terms of how they felt him felt him out when he came in for a visit recently. But me personally today, I'm taking Reuben Foster over Hassan Reddick 9 times out of 10.
Now, what I heard in terms of his off the field is it's primarily the people that he surrounds himself with. Now, character is big and loving football is big for Bob Quinn. And later on, I'm going to talk about some guys that might be off the draft board now based on just a little cues we got from the member summit. Football wise, he loves the game. They say he shows up. He's there every practice. He's on time. He works hard. He's a good leader. It's when practice is over, when the games are over and the people that he's surrounded by. And we've seen, in the past, you look at Michael Vick, you look at, different ones that depend on where you grew up. Man, I grew up in a really rough neighborhood myself. I get it. I do get it. And I, I'm not a football guy. I'm not anybody important, but there comes a time. And I was about 12 years old, man, about 12 or 13. And I started to see, the things that my friends got into, and the older you get, the more, things they get into. And I said to myself, man, that wasn't me. I think my mom too, hey, we want a different road for you. You love these guys. They're your friends, but there's different roads you can take in life. And so for me at a young age, despite growing up in one of the worst neighborhoods in Detroit, I kind of made that distance. I still see some of those guys because my mother still lives in the area and, we're cordial. So, it happens at different stages of people's life. Reuben, older, he's not 12, he's closer to 21, but, this might be a crossroad for him. And really,
exactly.
It depends on where he gets drafted. If I don't know where he's from. I know he played at Alabama. I don't know where he's from, but, it's a good chance. It's an opportunity for him to get this clean slate. And I'm not saying betray your friends. And I'm not saying, it's weird, man. In our culture, you sometimes get chastised for doing the right thing. The fact that maybe he doesn't want to hang, that doesn't mean he's fake. It doesn't mean he does. He has changed. Change, and someone changing isn't always a bad thing. He might have to get to that point where, hey, this is a clean break. It's a new opportunity for me, and I have a lot to gain, but a lot to lose. And so I think his influence, if that can change, he'll be okay. Shoulder is still an issue too, like you said. I'm with you though. If he's 21, I'm picking him. Now, if Reddick is there, I'm just completely convinced Reddick won't be there. So this is kind of a moot point. But if Reddick is there, I think, oh man, it's rough because Reuben did it at a high level. It's not, a hype after college football. It was because of what he did on the field against superior talent. I don't know. It's really a toss up. I hate to punk out and not give an answer. I'd probably just say Reddick just because there's just fewer check marks. There's fewer red flags. If they're both there, I will go with Reddick, but it's really close. I think the scenario is going to be Reddick is gone, and Reuben is there, and I would draft Reuben Foster.
Right.
Reggie Ragland, he, kind of reminds me of the guy, Alabama. He had all this first round hype and he kept falling. One just quick question. Do you think there's any chance he makes it to day 2? Do you think he potentially falls out of the first round? Miles Jack, Reggie Ragland. I can name tons of guys that were considered, no doubt, can't miss, Daquan Bowers. And for whatever reason, they fall. A lot of times it's injury. Sometimes it's character. Reuben's got both. He's got both. Any chance he makes it to round 2?
After the whole, Reggie Ragland issue last year, right? He tore his ACL or what was it? Something bad happened.
Yeah, I believe it was the ACL,
right?
Yep.
And I think if Ragland would have came out and had a bomb year, it would have put some more credibility around this young man. So there is a chance he could slide, but it's not going to be late. He's not going to be there sitting at pick, 42, 43 for the Lions.
Oh, no way. Yeah, no way.
Maybe early second round, but I still want to add this. Since Caldwell's been here, false starts, penalties, arrests, drug problems, all that's disappeared. And, with good leadership, I really think this, like you said, he'd lock in and he'd be so far away from Alabama. The only thing that scares me is Nick Fairley, also an Alabama kid, went home, got in trouble, right? So just keep the kid out of Alabama, keep him here in Detroit. But early, maybe round 2, but I doubt he gets past a team like the Patriots or someone that is always looking at upgrading their pass rush and their run stopping. So no, I don't think he gets past the Patriots or even someone crazy like the Packers, right? God forbid they get anybody.
Exactly. Yeah, and if for some weird reason he goes to round 2, it'll be a trade during that segment where the first 5 picks in the second round, he's gone. There's no way he would make it to the Lions. I'm with you on that. Let's wrap this thing up, Chris, by doing some prop bets. We discussed this Thursday. It would be cool to make a few little fun wagers on different scenarios and things of that sort. I think you have a few prepared. I've got a couple prepared, so I'll just I'll kick it off, man. I'll defer to you on this one. What do you got in terms of Lions NFL draft prop bets? I'm sure you got some fun ones in store.
Yeah. Mine is the easy one, and people say I'm a Spartan homer, but if the Lions draft Jabril Peppers, and I'm not a hot fan, I don't like hot food, I will eat 10 blazing wings at Buffalo Wild Wings, no ranch and no milk. and I will finish them in under an hour. Okay, that's for me. I'm probably gonna have to go to the hospital afterwards, but I'm gonna go again after the Lions draft on 21, and again when I eat these wings.
We will have that on videotape if it happens. If Jabril is the pick, and he fits kind of the things that Quinn likes, especially the athleticism part. All right, 12 blazing wings. Now I've got one.
10. Don't give me 12. No.
I tried to squeeze
that in there. 10 blazing wings. Under an hour. Under an hour.
I tried to squeeze that in.
And I'm gonna keep milk in there. I need milk. I need something.
Now you backtracking, man. What's going on?
I need something. I'm gonna keep my milk in there.
Oh man, so we'll get that on videotape if it happens. I've got one. And David, is the N silent? Is it Njoku or is it Joku? I keep saying Joku.
I think it's Njoku.
It's Njoku.
Yeah, I think it's Njoku.
Okay. So David Njoku. Make no mistake about it. And this isn't a unique thought. This isn't. Oh man, groundbreaking analysis. Pretty much everyone. You go on Pride Detroit, talking to you, whoever I talk to. No one wants Njoku. All right, OJ Howard will be fine. And hey, if he gets drafted, I will eat a bowl of peas. Now, you may say there's nothing wrong with that. Well, let me tell you something. I am one of the least picky people when it comes to food. Very few things will I say I don't like or I won't eat. We go to a restaurant and we'll have something. It could be me, my friends, my wife, and they say, oh, this is nasty. I'll say, hey, there's nothing wrong with that. It's fine. I'm like literally one of the least picky people when it comes to food. I ate the Coney pizza from Little Caesars, had no problem with it. So when I say I'm not picky, I am not picky. But there is one food. There is one thing that I absolutely hate. I tell you this much, man. Peas are the devil. They are so nasty. They're disgusting. I'll probably barf. But that's my prop bet, man. And I'm actually going to do a video of Pride Detroit this upcoming week. I'm going to eat a spoon of peas just to show you, I'm not an actor, okay? I have no acting chops. So when I eat that spoon of peas, all that angst and my facial expression is going to be real just to make this prop bet even more enticing. You're going to be like, man, this guy really hates peas. I hate the smell of them. I hate the way they look. Get them away from me. You ask anyone that knows me, what does Jerry not like? It's peas.
Man, Jerry, that's an easy one. You sauce those things up in some butter and some salt and pepper.
Nope.
You'll eat them.
Disgusting.
I can cook some good peas.
There's no doctor. You know how many times I've heard that? You know how many times people have told me that you doctor them or do that? They're disgusting. Disgusting. So if David Njoku gets drafted, I would eat a big old bowl of peas. Bob Quinn. I don't know what would make me more upset. The fact that we drafted David Njoku or the fact that I would have to eat those peas. But I'm putting it out there. If it happens, that's what I'm going to do.
The sad thing, though, Jerry, is he's actually pretty high, I bet you, on the Detroit Lions board. And if everybody gets taken, I think Njoku's higher than Jabril on the Lions board.
He probably is.
And I'm with you. I do not want to see another tight end similar to Ebron struggle blocking and contributing in his first year. I think the Lions got to get a guy that can come out and contribute just like Taylor Decker did last year. So my second one, I'll give you another one. Because last year I was pissed when the Lions drafted Jake Rudock, but even more pissed when they drafted a long snapper. So if the Lions draft a kicker, so a punter or a field goal kicker, or a long snapper, I'll do a shot of mayonnaise. I like mayonnaise, but a shot of mayonnaise, it's the viscosity of mayonnaise is pretty low, so it doesn't flow, it doesn't shot well, but I will do a shot of mayonnaise for you if we draft a long snapper or someone that kicks the football.
Chris, and because I feel like I like this one, but I think this one is a little safer, man. You look at the fact that we've got Sam Martin, so we're not getting a punter. And then we got Prater. It's not going to be a kicker. And I know, the long snapper Landis is kind of maybe and more. But can I add one more position? It's a rare position. It's not a highly touted position. And we have a young guy at this spot. But I just want to add one more position in there just to make this interesting. What if I added fullback in there? I mean, that's almost just as safe too because you got Michael Burton. But
yeah, I'll give you that because you also see that Michael Burton's his snap count drop drastically, and Jim Bob Cooter's offense. I'll add fullback in there.
Shot of
mayonnaise.
I like
that. I'll do it.
That's gross, man. I like mayonnaise too, but that's
a shot.
Yeah,
that's some cholesterol that I don't know if my wife will want me to consume, but I'll do it.
Again, we'll if any of these stipulations occur, they will be on video on PrideDetroit.com for your viewing pleasure. I've got another one as well. It's Charles Harris, and if Njoku is public enemy number 1, he's public enemy number 1A. Just doesn't really seem to fit. The athletic profile isn't there. The position, I really see him more as a 3-4. I just don't like the guy, but I am confident that the Lions probably don't like him either. However, you see a lot of mock drafts of us picking up guys, whether it's Takarius McKinley, who I wouldn't be as mad about, although there's some issues with fit as well. But you see mock drafts of guys that don't really fit. Do these guys know something? Are they just pegging a player for the Lions? I don't know. But Charles Harris, if he is drafted by the Detroit Lions at pick number 21, I don't know if this is worse than eating peas. For long term, it is. For short term, probably eating that bowl of peas. Actually, my stomach turns a little bit just thinking about eating peas. I'm not joking. I will purchase a Green Bay Packers jersey.
Ooh.
I will wear it. I will post it on Twitter. I will post it on Facebook. I will post it on Instagram, and I will leave it up for a full week.
And let me add to this since you added to mine. Let me add to this. You will wear it to the third preseason game.
Oh, come on, man.
With me against the Patriots.
Dude, come on.
And I will give you my ticket.
Oh, come on, dude.
I'm with you. Charles Harris is awful.
You know what?
I don't want him. But I think this is, again, that draft board. That's the thing I love about the draft. You never know what's going to happen in front of you.
Packers
so
jersey.
I want to sweeten yours a little bit since you gave me fullback. You'll wear it out in public with me to a Lions preseason game.
Oh, my goodness, dude. All right, man, I'll do it. I'll roll with it. You were a good sport. You added a stipulation, and I am so confident that it won't be Charles Harris. I really do feel as though there's some, even with the draft board playing out as it does, I could think of probably 25 people they would draft before. Now, Njoku, that could happen, man. I would be upset. Harris, I feel pretty confident it won't. So there you have it. Those are my two. I don't know if do you have a third one? I was only able to muster up two, man. After I said Packers jersey, I kind of just went in this deep depression, and I know I said I was going to do three. I only got two. Do you have a third one?
No, I only came up with two for you, but I think these are pretty volatile for the both of us, right? Because there's a good chance that one, I'm going to be ingesting some things that's going to either put me in some serious diabetic problems or in the hospital, and you're just going to be embarrassing yourself flat out. So I don't think we should go any further than what we've done today, and we should stick with these two each. I'm with it.
I'll be barfing no matter what if either of those stipulations happen. Putting on a Packers jersey will make me barf, and I'm telling you, man, peas, it's going to happen. So check this out, Chris. This was pretty good. Now, I don't know how your schedule's lined up with my schedule, but I want to get you on at least one more time before the draft, maybe even after the draft. We'll sync up.
Or the night of the draft, like we did last year. I like that.
That would be nice. Actually, that's a pretty good idea. I'm wrapping my brain around just some options I'm going to do with the draft. If I want to do some type of a special show or what.
Yeah.
As soon as I get that figured out, we got to get you back on here. In fact, man, this was pretty good. I think we had we were going to do about 10, 15 minutes, but it's such a joy having you on here, man. We had to let this thing play out. So listen, Chris Gandy is the man. Tell them a little bit about your Twitter activity. Tell them about if you got any things in the works, anything you might be conjuring up. I'm trying to get you back in that podcast world, man. But just tell them a little bit about where you can be found on Twitter and whatnot.
Yeah, I got 3 Twitter pages now. Now that I got one. But you can follow at those Detroit guys, those DET guys on Twitter, or you can follow my personal page at I Need Limes, and hopefully on a future podcast I can give you a story about why I need limes. So you can check us out. I still tweet from both accounts, pretty active, and podcast is still in the dormant stage. That's why I'm a co-host on a lot more shows, right? I also join your show, and I also join Chris Davis's show as FT Sports Podcast, which is a weekly show that comes out on Thursdays as well. So it's a live show. But hey, man, I enjoy being on the show, and thanks again for the offer. And I look forward to one day seeing you eat peas, because I don't think they're going to draft your boy. So thanks again, man.
Hey, man, as always, appreciate you. Hopefully none of these things happen, man, because your 2 scenarios are pretty rough. My 2 scenarios are pretty rough. Peppers is not as bad for me personally as some guys, but we'll see. And in any event, man, thanks for joining us, and looking forward to talking to you soon, buddy.
All right, man. Good luck with the rest of the show.
All right, guys, that was Chris Gandy. Really good dude, man. Solid guy, and definitely enjoyed having him on. So check this out. We got a little bit more to talk about. I know my show's usually 30 minutes because I had the special guest on. We ran a little long. I omitted the break this time. We're just going to cap the show and bring it to an end with just a few thoughts. There was one point that I wanted to mention in terms of the draft that I didn't get a chance to talk with Chris about, and it was a little message from Bob Quinn at the member summit, whatever a summit is, at the member summit. He mentioned 2 things that they like and things they put an emphasis on, and it's athleticism, being able to run, be elite with those things, and the guy that loves to play the game of football. So when I started to think about that, there were a few individuals that, in my mind, became more likely to be drafted by Detroit, and a few guys that became less likely in that first round area. So 2 guys that, the Lions maybe people have talked about, but then it kind of soured in my opinion. But now I think they're back in play at 21. It's Gerard Davis and it's Jabril Peppers, the aforementioned Jabril Peppers. Gerard Davis, is it Jared or Gerard? I'm sorry, probably Jared. In any event, his numbers really spoke. His pro day numbers, he popped out. The athleticism was there. A lot of people didn't think that he would do as well as he did. Kent Lee Plott, we all know him as Math Bomb on Twitter. His RAS is going to take off. All right. I think we should just make it a foregone conclusion that one day that's going to be a metric that we're all going to be talking about. And we can say, you know what? I remember him before he was like this statistician guru at NFL Network, because it's going to happen. That's my boy. Ken is a good man. It's going to happen. His RAS scores were pretty good. I don't have them in front of me. I apologize, but they were very good. Same with Jabril Peppers. We already knew that Jabril was like an athletic guy, a freak, if you will. And by all accounts, he does seem to love the game of football. Now, Jabril Peppers loves himself some Jabril Peppers, but he also loves the game of football. So those 2 guys kind of jumped out at me. Now, there are 2 guys, really 3. I'm struggling with the third one, though. But there's 2 guys primarily, kind of 3, that, in my opinion, fell off of the Lions draft board. It's Taco Charlton and Malik McDowell to start. And the biggest thing for them was loving the game of football. Quinn said it. I want guys that love the game of football. Now, Malik McDowell, we already have heard the rumors. From an athletic standpoint, from a gift, there's no question. But we saw him, toward the end, or really quicker than that. Once Michigan State got off to that bad start, this guy, instead of thinking about the love of football, started thinking about not getting hurt. He camped it. He camped out. He melded in, however you want to word it. If you love the game of football and you love your team and you love the passion, the fact that you're playing that game, you don't make that move. And there's been questions about how much he actually loves the game. So I think, although he would fit a need, he could play DE, he could play 3 tech, you got to cancel him out. And then there's Taco Charlton. Now his athletic measurables were a little underwhelming. That 40 was underwhelming. He improved it. And so you kind of have a check mark negatively in terms of his athleticism not being what we thought. But also, whether he loves the game of football. I had a guy ask me on Twitter, well, what do you mean? For all accounts, he has a pretty decent motor, et cetera, et cetera. But the issue with Taco Charlton is the fact that, he started to look good toward the end of the year because he was out of shape all off season. If you love the game of football, that means you are ready to play. That means 24 hours, 7 days a week, and that's exaggerating. But during the off season, you're taking care of yourself and your body. That way, when the season comes, you're ready to perform. You're ready to play at a high level. And so I think if you add his measurables being not as much as we wanted, and there's issues about his work ethic, to me, that ties into your love of the game. I really do think they're off the draft board. Now, the third guy is Derek Barnett, and I'm struggling with this one. You guys know I love him. His RAS was pathetic. His athletic measurables were pathetic. At first, he was sick. Then he had the injury. But, is it that, or is it just, he's just not as athletic as we hope? He's already a bit undersized, not that tall, doesn't have the longest arms. I struggled with this one, though, because I really like him as a player, and perhaps that production on the field is just too much for Quinn to pass up. But if I'm being realistic, he's probably added to that mix as well, just not athletic enough. So, after hearing those comments from Quinn, guys like Jabril Peppers, Obi Melanfano Woo, whatever his name is, I didn't talk about him, but you could add him to the mix as a guy. And then Jarrett Davis, those three, I think their chances of being drafted by the Lions are a little bit higher now that we have even more of a mindset and insight on Bob Quinn. And then Malik McDowell, Taco Charlton, and I hate to say it, but Derek Barnett, I think their chances are starting to dwindle. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. I really enjoyed talking to Chris Gandy. I want to thank him for joining us. We'll be back next week. We're going to have a couple of shows coming up because, hey, the draft is coming. It's going to be a fun time. So I want each and every one of you to get in that mindset. Have a little fun with it. Be ready for the next show, and we'll go ahead and throw it out there next Monday. I can be found at Jerry Mallory NFL on Twitter. I can be found on PrideDetroit.com, and I can be found, at a Lions game. Hopefully not in an Aaron Rodgers jersey. Hey, listen up. Come back. Enjoy the show. As you always do, I enjoy you listening. And until next time, this has been Jerry Mallory for the Hindsight 20 podcast.
Red James, 33 chains, Ocean now, cruising Biscayne, hit from top off, that's a liability.